Super Bowl 60s in the books. That means the 2025 NFL season is officially done. Well, it's not. The new season doesn't begin until March 11th. And on today's episode of the Wayne Breezy Show, we're going to recap the Super Bowl, and we're going to kick off the offseason for the 49ers. Free agency's coming up, and you got the NFL draft underway. So we got a lot to discuss on today's episode, and for the time being, stick around. Smash that like button, faithful. If you're new, subscribe. What's going on, 49er faithful? It's your boy Wayne Breezy, and welcome to the Wayne Breezy Show. You know how we do. It's Monday. Time's a little different. You know, it's okay. It's okay. Time's a little different, but shout out to the Breezy Bunch crew, man. You guys out there, you guys are the most faithful. I think you guys are more faithful to the Breezy Bunch than you are to the 49ers, and I love it. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? But look. A lot to discuss from the Super Bowl. We could recap the Super Bowl. We could talk about the Super Bowl and stuff like that. But I want you guys to know where you guys can go to get exclusive content for the off season, because things are going to be shifting, and I'm going to be moving some stuff, a lot more stuff over to the Patreon. So I'm going to explain that for you guys. But don't get it twisted. It's going to be pretty much live content and uploaded content right here on the YouTube channel, as well as Facebook, as well as Twitch, as well as X. All right, as well as X. So again, man, if this is your first time watching the show, man, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, all right? I need you to subscribe. First, you got to hit the like. We know what the likes do for the algorithm. Then I need you to subscribe to the channel, all right? Especially if you're watching on YouTube. Those subscribers matter, all right? You matter, okay? Now, if you want to support the channel, you know, in more depth or whatever, and get exclusive things, then you can become a member, and that's where we do the Breezy Bunch shout out. We're going to get that shout out going pretty soon. I see them coming in. All right, so definitely you can get the shout outs and other perks if you want to become a member of the Breezy Bunch crew. Shout out to everybody that listens to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and wherever you listen to this on your podcast. I appreciate you. I know it's the off season, so it's like, man, what are we going to talk about? Listen, I don't know about you, but after watching what the Seahawks did to the Niners, to the Rams, and now to the Patriots, it's a lot we got to discuss. You dig? Lots we got to discuss. But shout out, make sure you guys go ahead, click on that subscribe button. You can also follow me on X, as well as TikTok, Threads, Facebook. I'm going to be putting content out everywhere, all right? So make sure you follow me everywhere. Sometimes you're going to get things that aren't on all the streaming platforms, right? So make sure you pay attention to that. So that's why it's important to follow. Shout out to our sponsors over at residency.com. Use that promo code SFBreezy and you can still save on your purchase. And I'm going to give Residency a round of applause. The people over there, they took a shot on your boy Breezy, and they've been rocking with me ever since. Now, I can try to see if I can get them to up that promo code to maybe like $10 off. We'll see. I'll see what they're talking about. Hopefully they'll do. I gotta get my sales up, so you guys gotta help me with that. All right. But yeah. So shout out to them as well over at Residency. And I'm hoping we talk about. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about Deebo Samuel. Yes, I am. I'm lying. Why would I say that? Oh, then the exclusive content is going to be right here on the Patreon. So you guys, there's different tiers to the Patreon. And there's a document tier, which costs you $1 if you just want to sign up for $1, and you'll get, you know what I'm saying, all my docs that I'm creating, Google Sheets, Google Docs, all that type of stuff. All you got to do is sign up, pay the $1 for the month, and then you just give your email address, and then boom, 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 boom. And I'll show you what that looks like, because I know people will probably be like, well, what does that look like? All right, so every year I go through stuff and I create different templates and stuff or information, for you guys, you know what I'm saying? For me and for you, right? So I create this stuff. So right now I'm working on my top 10 prospects per position entering, the draft. And right now, this is pre-NFL Combine, so this is before the big workouts and stuff like that. But I do want to show you kind of what I'm doing over there. And this isn't it, but you can see that I kind of like detail this stuff. Right now is my wide receivers. So I got the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs, and I'm working on the quarterbacks right now. I got a long ways to go, but the cool thing is these are updated live. So as I'm working on these, you can see as I'm putting the stuff in there. And just to go through the wide receivers, because I feel like this is a position that the Niners must target in this particular draft, right? So the wide receivers, but you can see I got my top 10 wide receivers. I even color-coded it to the school that they're coming out of, right? And then I give you, some stuff about them. Their play style, their stats, the PFF grade. Some people like PFF grade. I have their unofficial 40 times that they are projected to run. Strengths, weaknesses, comparisons, their draft projections, and then best team fits. All right, so, I'm working on measurables. Not everywhere they have the measurables. The measurables will definitely come after the NFL Combine, but this is just one of the type of things that I'll be sharing. So if you wanted to join the Patreon, again, that's www.patreon.com/TheWayneBreezy. For $1 a month, you can have access to all of this stuff once it's uploaded. Now, this hasn't been uploaded to my Patreon members as of yet because I'm still working on it. But once I get the offense officially finished, I'll go ahead and upload it to the Patreon. But there's other stuff there that you can have access to. I'll be doing the combine stuff and all that cool stuff. So I just wanted to share that with you so you guys can understand, of course, there's going to be video uploads. Today's mock draft Monday, so there will be a mock draft for you guys later on tonight at 8 p.m., all right, and that will be cool because I can't wait to see how the mock draft falls as of right now. All right, let's recap some of the stuff that happened this past weekend. As far as NFL dates, I did want to discuss what you guys can look forward to as far as what's going on in the NFL this upcoming day, and then I'm going to get to the shoutouts. All right, so NFL dates, here we go. February 23rd through March 2nd, the Combine. That's one of my favorite times of the year. It's where players are going to test and do their best, and you're going to see stocks rise and things like that. After the Combine, March 3rd is when the franchise tag deadline is in full effect, all right? Franchise tag deadline is done. Boom, right? You can't franchise tag players anymore after that, or transition tag. And then March 9th, my brother's birthday, free agency, the unofficial tampering period begins. All right, the tampering period begins. March 11th is the new league year. So in almost 32 days, the new league year starts. Like the 2026 season officially kicks off March 11th. All right, and then March 29th through the 1st, you have those annual meetings with the owners and the coaches, and boom, you know what that means. The rules, all that stuff comes out. April 23rd to the 25th is the NFL draft, and then hopefully the schedule release right now is projected to be May 13th. All right, so the schedule release is projected to be May 13th. So I just wanted to share with you guys those dates. Let's do some shout outs, man. Shout out to the Breezy Bunch crew. You guys are out here. Jax was in the building. Hey, Wayne, it's the long off season. I hope it flies by. It sounds like it's going to fly by. You know what I mean? It sounds like it's going to fly by. It really does. Because we're already in February. Super Bowl's over. And once I'm going to be putting out tons of draft stuff. So once that stuff comes out, you already know what time it's going to be. Stephanie, what's going on? She says, hey, Wayne and Faithful, so glad that Super Bowl is over. Looking forward to next season. Yep, me too. Especially, I'm looking forward to, I'm going to put this out there for the 49ers. I'm looking forward to a healthy and prosperous season, right? Health is the key for the 49ers. Always is. Brandy in the building. Good afternoon. Breezy, what's going on? Brandy, good to see you up there. Sorry about your team. Sorry about the the Patriots, man. They just a young team. Just a young team. Yeah, just a young Niner Faithful, one of my moderators. Shout out to Niner Faithful 8080. Hey, Breezy, what are the key off-season dates? I hope I just went over those as of right now, so I can go back over those a little bit later. But right now, February 23rd through March 2nd is the number one date. That's the date you need to know. That's the date the NFL Combine will be aired on NFL Network. I will not be at the Combine, so I will be bringing you tons of videos and coverage because I'm creating my own draft stuff. So I won't be at the Combine, all right? But Yeah, it's going to be cool. Dion in the building. What's going on, baby? Air horns. All the members. Sorry, Breezy. McDonald winning was an indictment on Kyle. He is now the third best head coach in our division. McVay and McDonald did it in shorter spans of time, 2 appearances, 2 L's. Yeah, look, I'm not going to argue with this, Dion. This is what it is. He was able to win. I will say this, right? And I don't know if any of this stuff matters. Context matters to me. You figure the first time the Niners went to that Super Bowl, they couldn't get it done. All right. And then they were trying to get another quarterback other than Jimmy Garoppolo, before the whole Trey Lance situation happened. And they were going after Matthew Stafford, and Sean McVay jumped in and got Matthew Stafford. So when you get an all-pro-esque type of quarterback now, MVP, Matthew Stafford, your chances go up, right? So, yeah, McVay got the one before before Kyle. And then, McDonald, he inherited a team, and he drafted some key defensive pieces, and they just got it right. I don't know what to say. I mean, the Niners season this year was plagued of injury. I mean, not trying to take away from the Seahawks, but I wonder what the season would have been like had the Niners not been so battered. I don't know, but I tip my hat to the Seahawks. You're right. Whatever you say, no matter how we spin it, this is a correct statement. Kyle Shanahan did not get the dub. He did not get the dub. And the 1 year they didn't have to play the Chiefs. I mean, you could say the Seahawks had the easiest walk into the Super Bowl. They were playing against an inexperienced, young Patriots team. It's just so many ways you can kind of look at that. I mean, I had the Patriots winning the game, but it is what it is. But your statement is 100% spot on. I mean, Kyle Shanahan is just is the third best quarterback in the division. Only because he's the most winning quarterback in the division, but I guess none of that matters when you can't win in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. It just sucks. It sucks for us. You know what I mean? It sucks for us. But there's a lot of stuff that kind of going down. You know what I'm saying? You got to it's just unfortunate. The Niners just go through a series of unfortunate events, man. They like Lemony Snickets or whatever. Jackson Knox with a super chat contribution. Thank you, Jack. Says, I need the Niners to be active this offseason. The Seahawks are who they think they are. I just feel like we were the team people were worried about. Now it's the Seahawks. Can we redeem ourselves? Okay, let's talk about this for a second. This is what this show is all about. This show is about therapy, right? We're here to talk. We're here to converse. You're here to get your comments and stuff off. I'm here to listen. I'm here to give you some insight from my perspective. Yes, the Rams and the Seahawks will be the talk of the NFC West. But the Niners are still the talk of the NFC West. I think when you listen to what people are saying about the San Francisco 49ers, they will say that, man, if they weren't injured, you'll hear that a lot. I'm starting to hear that a lot. And I mean from the national media. Man, I wonder what they would be like. They still respect Kyle Shanahan as a coach. There's players on this team that they still respect. Christian McCaffrey should have been MVP this year, but MVP never goes to quarterbacks. Just like last year, the MVP probably should have been Saquon Barkley. Let's just keep it a buck, but Josh Allen got it. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it is. And it is what it is. But at the end of the day, the Niners will always be relevant if Kyle Shanahan is here. The moment Kyle Shanahan leaves here, which is what a lot of fans want, the Niners will become irrelevant. Does that make sense? So the Niners will still be the talk. I think what happened with the Niners, they just got injured. And they got injured like a lot. And you just got to look at it, man. You lost your All-Pro, 2 All-Pros on the defensive side of football. George Kittle didn't play. He was out after the first touchdown. Then he left the game. He was out for several weeks. Right? And you didn't have Brock Purdy for several weeks after the first game. It's amazing. And the fact that they competed was one thing. What the Seahawks did, the Seahawks drafted well. You got to give it to the Seahawks. You got to give it to McDonald. Is this the second season there? You got to give it to them. He knew what he was trying to build. So he got best available players to build that. He got young superstar talent. The Niners draft differently. They draft fits and stuff. I think that switches. I think that theory has to change, in my opinion. So, to go over what you said for your super chat contribution, the Niners gotta do better. They gotta do better in the drafting process. It's time to start looking at, let's go get some players. Okay? Let's go get some talented players. I don't give a freak if they don't fit. Let's get some players in here that can make plays. And that's what the Seahawks are. Now you talked about the Seahawks being the talk of the. We got to see how their free agency pans out, because they got about $75 million. I think that they can spend in their cap, and they gotta figure out what they're gonna do with Sam Darnold. Are they gonna bring back the MVP and Kenneth Walker III? They got a lot of stuff that they got to figure. And that's just two players that's gonna command money. And so the Seahawks are losing their offensive coordinator to the Raiders. Is it Clint Kubiak's going to the Raiders, the head coach? So their offense is even going to look different next year. So if Kenneth Walker's not going, Zach Charbonnet's coming off of an ACL injury. So who knows with the Seahawks? But you know what? I don't think the Seahawks fans even give two flying cares, right? Because they won a Super Bowl. Nicholas, Switch Chargers fan. We got a Chargers fan in here. He asked me, do I like Jair Tig Brown? So I do like Tig. I don't know if Tig is talented enough to play on this defense. Now, I think specific assignments, specific roles, he excels. I don't know how Raheem, it's going to be tough to evaluate how I think these players are going to be with Raheem Morris now as the defensive coordinator. And for those that don't know, Raheem Morris is now the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. So I don't necessarily know what types of pieces he's going to want. What I do know is, and we're having some issues on Facebook according to StreamYard, so hopefully that gets fixed. And if you're struggling to watch on Facebook, come join on YouTube, please. Here's what we do know. We know that the secondary is going to improve because there's going to be specific types of players on the secondary. I don't know if Tig fits the model of Raheem Morris. I don't know. I don't know if he fits. He's not fast enough, right? But we've seen him cover. We've seen him play deep safety. Does he go just to that role? That's going to be the question. And if so, maybe he works out. If not, it's going to be a problem. All right. So we know Morris is going to bring multiple defensive fronts. He's going to have a 5-2 alignment. He might switch to a 3-4. Pay attention to what they do in this draft, especially if we start to draft some of these light edge outside linebackers. That means it's going to be some 3-4 coming. Why? Because he wants to get to the quarterback. And we're going to blitz. So this defense is going to look a lot different this year. But I'm here for it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm all here for it. Niner Gang says, I don't think that if Kyle leaves, we go into obscurity. Remember, he's only had 3 years of that's 3 years of consistency. And how many years have we had injured seasons? How many years did we lose specific players all season to an injury? Go back, go through the 9 years. You tell me, Dion, how many of them 9 years did we have inconsistency when it came to just like all pro players being injured? Kittle missed time. Nick Bosa missed the season. Debo missed time. We've been struggling to figure out this whole quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo stayed injured, right? And then Brock Purdy got injured. He missed time. It's the weirdest thing for Kyle Shanahan. Not saying that, I don't think there's any better options. So I actually think that that's what happens. If you feel like you want to just start over with a new head coach, I don't see that happen. I don't see how we're going to be good. I just don't. I truly don't. I truly don't. Now, are there some things that we hope Kyle switches up in this offseason? For sure. But I think Kyle got better as a coach. I think he started to alleviate some of the pressure of the play calling. You started to see Clay get more involved with the play calling. Like we started to see some innovative and some changes, some evolution of this Kyle Shanahan system. And then it was just we always missing a piece. Always missing the piece. I just feel like the 49ers offense is always missing a piece. So look, I don't think that the Niners team will be relevant. Not at it, not like especially if the Seahawks stay where they are. What coach are you looking to bring in here to make them relevant? And if you're going to say Jim Schwartz, I mean he wasn't a good head coach. He's a great defensive coordinator. So y'all can miss me with the Jim Schwartz head coach thing. But defensive coordinator, he the man. He the man. Hold on one second. So yeah, I definitely don't know what the situation, but I just feel like the Niners are better off with Kyle than they are without Kyle. We just got to figure out how to get over the stupid, silly hump. And every time we see other teams get better, boom. So what the Niners got to do in the offseason, they got to figure out how to get better. You know what I mean? Like they just got to figure out. They got to figure out how to stay healthy, and they got to get better players. In my opinion, like that's just my opinion, though. That's just my opinion. It's unfortunate that Kyle didn't win. And you can be mad at him all we want. It is what it is. But this season, man, we were playing with house money. Just like the Patriots, I thought we're playing with house money. No one expected the Patriots to get to the Super Bowl, right? No one expected that. But they did. And they got beat by the better team. They got beat by a ferocious freaking defense. That's what they got beat by. That's what it was. That defense is relentless. Remember and the Rams defense is trending that way too. And that to me is the key. What the Niners need to figure out how to do this offseason is get relentless on D. Stop getting all these bull crap players that can't produce. Start getting players that can produce. I think production is key. Production is key. So the Niners got to figure out how to get relentless on the defense side. That's just my opinion. When I watch, that's why when I do mock drafts and people get mad because I draft defensive players. I mean, are you guys watching what we're watching? Did you watch all the teams in the playoffs except for the 49ers were defensively sounded? All of them. And the Niners probably would have been that way, but their best defensive players were out for the season. You can go to every team in the playoffs this year. What were the teams in the playoffs? I guarantee they were top 10 defenses. Every team in the playoffs, except for the Niners. But every team in the playoffs had top 10 defenses. And you know what all those defenses have in common? Relentless motors. You get into the quarterback. Find a way to be disruptive. Some teams had great secondaries. You had the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were in the playoffs. Their secondary was probably one of the best takeaway secondaries in the league. You had the Denver Broncos in the playoffs. They had the most sacks. You had the Houston Texans defense. They probably the most balanced defense. And it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was just defense, and then the Seahawks just hit the teams and hit the stride at the right time. And their defense is solid. They're great up front. They're great up front. So I think this is the year Kyle's going to have to figure out. And don't draft no motherfreaking key fit pieces. No, you did that last year. It's time to get some playmakers out here on the defensive side. Send them a kiss. Dogs. You know? And that's draft. We didn't even get to free agency yet because I have no idea who we're going to keep targeting. This is the guy we needed. I don't know why we didn't draft this kid. We drafted Michael. I understand the concept. We drafted fit over talent. This is what we did. This is what we did. We drafted fit. And look, Michael is going to be hopefully transition to one of the best defensive ends in the league. We hope. We don't know. But I know what Nick Emmanwori going to be, all pro next year. How about that? How about getting a rookie safety that is multiple, like in his versatility, that just comes in and all of a sudden lights the league up? And remember, he was playing on injury this week at the Super Bowl. Wait, didn't the Seahawks win that game without JSN? Didn't he get injured too? Look, I'm gonna tip my hat to the Seattle Seahawks, and I hate that, man. I don't even want to congratulate them, but I'm not that type of guy. I'm not. You know why? Because they figured it out. They figured it out. And they figured it out. So I'm going to give a round of applause to the Seahawks. We got a super chat contribution to the Seahawks fan watching. Congratulations on the Super Bowl 60 champions, man. Well earned, well deserved. You know why it's well earned and well deserved? Because you whipped my team's ass. Yes, you did. Once this season, you whipped my team's ass. Not only did you whip my team's ass, you did it in the playoffs. That's even worse than getting whipped during the regular season. And then on top of that, you held my team to no touchdowns for the last 2 games. That's got to change. That's got to change. That's why there's so many different ways the Niners need to go. They need to get an X wide receiver. They need to get a high pressure rate sack mother freaking master. I want a guy that could I want a guy that play a lot of snaps and high pressure rate. I'm talking pressure rate in the 20s. Don't give me no freaking 15, 13, 10, 9, 8. No, I'm talking 20 and up pressure rate. It's something that the Niners just lack. And I'm not banking on Nick Bosa coming off of an ACL. I'm not banking on Michael Williams coming off of an ACL. You better not. Give them time. Give those guys time. Jack Knox. Super chat. We need a Gonzalez. He's good. He was on JSN. Yeah. So here's the thing. There's some cornerbacks in this draft, right? The thing I like, though, there's some cornerbacks that I think this draft is kind of deep with corners. Do we go cornering with 27? I say hell yeah. I mean, if the kid from Clemson is there, you go get him. Yeah. I just don't know which way they're going to go. I don't know which way they're going to go. I don't. But it ain't nothing we could do because we ain't getting this guy. Shout out to Kid Clientele 19. Caleb Downs is going in the top 5 picks. That dude would be far gone. If you want to get the best safety in the draft, it's going to be far gone. But look, there's so many ways that the Niners can do. They can go. Free agency is first. We got to see which free agents return to their teams. And there's reports out there that the Niners try to bring back Juwan Jennings. I want to know how y'all feel about that because the number I believe is reported per Spot Rack, I think, or was it PFF? I can't remember who it was, but the number that he's targeting to get is about like $17 million a year. Interesting, I don't know if I want to pay him $17 million or try to get like an Alec Pierce for $17 million, because I still think the Niners need a true X wide receiver. That's the issue, in my opinion, with the offense. I know a lot of people feel like the offensive line. No, the offensive line ain't great, but they're not bad. If anything, the 49ers offensive line is mid, and it's better. It's in the upper mid too, right? Like not at the lower mid, right? So I feel like, do I want some pieces of the offensive line to be, like a Tyler Linderbaum? Yes, absolutely. You could upgrade at the center position, But when you think about the guards position, that's where it gets tricky. Do you bring back Spencer Burford, or did Spencer Burford do enough to earn a contract elsewhere? It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff that's going to go down for the Niners in the off season. Lots of stuff to fault to. But here's the thing: start with free agency and free agent targets. All right. Now on this live show, we're going to talk about some of these free agent targets. So you guys are going to give me a position that you feel like we need to address as far as free agents. We're going to look at some of these free agent players and how much they're going to cost. All right. Now, the Niners do got some players returning, and we got some super chat contributions I got to get to before we do that. All right. Big Daddy Niners, what up, baby? Spend the money, get the players. All right. So my thing is, Jed York already reset the team, the cap, and the dead money. You see that the Niners got like $20-something million in dead money, and I believe that money is going Most of it's going to Javon Hargrave, right? That's funny. But all right. We talked about receivers on this show at once, I believe, as far as free agents. So we'll get to them. But I definitely want to discuss some of the other positions. And Tyler Linderbaum might not be as expensive as we thought. So I want to see what free agents at the center positions are going to be available. That's going to be dope. All right, so now there's some veteran free agents too here, but Big Daddy says spend the money. All right, Big Daddy, you already gave me a super chat, but who would you want to spend the money on? Put that in the comments. Hopefully I won't miss it, all right? So let me know, what player would you want to spend the money on? And then we'll kind of see what his market value is. Today we'll look at market values. X-Man 95. The 49ers personnel need to sit and watch the rise of the 49ers to reignite the fire that this organization is known to have. On top of that, congrats to the Seahawks. I like you, man. It was good that you came on the show a couple of weeks ago, right? I like that because we are not sore losers. And as much as I hate the Seahawks, I got to give them props. I like that you said congrats to the Seahawks. But then celebrating in our shit is just a slap in the face. This is fuel to the fire, right? This should make the 49ers, guy like Fred Warner, anybody, be like, that can't ever happen again. Even though next year will be the Super Bowl will be in at SoFi, which is Levi South. So the Niners get a chance to play at home again in the Super Bowl next year. You know what I mean? But I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I didn't watch the celebrations. I mean, and immediately after the game was over, I didn't watch anything. I was more upset. I was packing my food. That's what I was doing. I was packing up food to eat throughout the week. I made me 5 to-go plates. I got food for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I got food, but I just did not. I wasn't interested. I wasn't interested. I wasn't. I'm not going to lie, because I was tight. The night. Man, you had the golden opportunity to play at home, and we blew it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so almost 22 million. Thank you, Dion. So 22 million in dead cap. I think 19 to 20 of that goes to Hargrave. I appreciate that. So Crazy Juice says definitely need to move on from Brendo. I don't know if they'll move on from Brendo, but here's the thing: if you sign Tyler Linderbaum, right now, I'm saying his market value is about $17 million a year. All right, about $17 million a year. If we sign him, okay, you just got a good backup. I think you can move on. I don't know if I could just say Brendo is a good backup, but you know what I'm saying. You got a serviceable backup. You know what I'm saying? Serviceable backup. All right. So, that like, I think that the San Francisco 49ers would be just fine if they go out and get a center. It would improve what they're doing in the run game and in passing. And I think it's time. Now the question is, do they go center and draft a guard, or do they go guard and free agency and draft a center? Do not think that the San Francisco 49ers are going to address the tackle position. It's just not happening, right? You got Trent Williams and Colt McKivitz coming back. So tackle is tackles. You know what I mean? The tackles are tackles, right? And so at the end of the day, that's what you got to look at. So don't look at the tackles. I don't even see or think that the Niners are going to draft a tackle early in this draft. I got a funny feeling that they might go 3rd, 4th, 5th round. And we only got 5 rounds worth of picks anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But I will say, if the Niners, why I'm stuttering because I don't even think the Niners play on Tyler Linderbaum. I don't. I think Jake Brendel is the guy. I think that's who they're going to rock with. So I truly feel that that's what it is. Jake Brendel was serviceable. I don't think they're going to spend money on a center position, which is what it is. Let's look at the defensive end positions. And all right, you got the trade stuff going out there, right? You got the Max Crosby stuff. But let's look at some free agents, right? I personally know that the Niners, I see people in the chat saying we need speed. We need speed, right? Usually if you're talking speed, you're talking youth. Just in the chat, like, what's the oldest you'll sign a player? I'm just curious. What's the oldest? You know what I'm saying? Slick. Yeah, but it was I made to go place for each day. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I eat one a day. But I sure enough did. Yes, I did. Slick. That's funny. Bruh, man. Fifth flow. What's the oldest though? Because depending on the position, right? Trey Hendrickson's a free agent, but he's gonna command like 25 mil. And did you guys see the cap hit for Nick Bosa? Expect a Nick Bosa's extension or restructure or something happening, because the Niners cap hits, woo, good God. Yeah, Nick Bosa, Brock Purdy, Fred Warner, the Christian McCaffrey, Trent has the lowest one out of all of them. That's the funniest, right? Because they restructured his deal last year. It's going to be crazy. But again, man, I'm looking at these defensive ends, and I'm saying to myself, golly, there's some dogs up here, though. There's some dogs, right? So Trey Hendrickson, Khalil Mack. How would you guys feel about getting Hassan Reddick? He's not the same, or at least he hasn't been the same since he left the Eagles. But the market value for him is about $5 million. Should we circle, at least highlight or put a check mark by Reddick's name at $5 million a year? He's 31. He hasn't dealt with a lot of injuries. He's just a little older. Oh, I see the nopes. Okay, damn. Like that, you just shut it down, huh? Shut it down on the Reddick. All right, I ain't mad at you. All right, I ain't mad at you, Big Daddy. We're going to get to this. All right. Golly. All right, so, and that was the question that I asked, right? Khalil Mack. People say that, Trey Hendrickson is old. I'm seeing that in there. Mack is old. I bet you them cats not Trey Hendrickson. He was injured last year, but I think Mack, he got injured too. I wonder what his stats were, though. Don't know what his stats. Joey Bosa, old. Nobody wants Joey. I'm looking at these market values, and I'm saying to myself, man, all right, how would you feel about them bringing back Gross Matos? And if you had to pick between a Reddick or a Matos, who would you pick? Who would you pick? I'm just curious. So I'm looking at these ages. Do you think the Niners try to bring back Samson Ebukam? He wasn't a guy that got to the quarterback, but man, he could set the edge. He could set the mother freaking edge. All right. So I'm curious to know. Like, there's some guys. I'm over Arden Key. I'm just trying to think of some. Kyle Van Noy is almost 35. What about the Niners returning? What about trying to? All right, so here's some names. You ready? I would say pay attention to Charles Omenihu, Samson Ebukam. I'm over Gross Matos, right? I personally would like Hassan Reddick here, but that's just me. I like Kwity Paye too, the edge, but he's going to command a lot of money. So let me stick to the 10 million and under guys. 10 million and under guys. Azeez Ojulari is a free agent. How do you guys feel about him? Peachy says, just bring in a dang whole pass. Yeah, just bring the pass rush. That's it. Just bring the whole pass. Get a pass rush. Bring it in. This is where the Niners. But what about Azeez Ojulari right now? He hasn't done nothing in the NFL. Didn't he get traded? He's with the Philadelphia Eagles, if I'm not mistaken, right? He's only going to command per spot rack $1.7 million on the market. This is a Niners type of deal guy. They didn't trade for him, but now that he's a free agent, they could probably go out there and get him, and they probably could get him to work. That's the cheapest guy I see. out there on this list. There's tons of guys. Here's a name that I want people to highlight. Put this in your notes. Boye Mafe from the Seahawks. I don't know if the Seahawks will even have enough money to bring all these guys back, but Boye Mafe from the Seahawks. I just saw a comment about my mock draft telling me I better not to draft another defensive lineman. I think that's funny because that's the first pick. If he's there, I'm getting him. Boye Mafe, that'll be a good name. I think the Niners will get a disruptor on the outside. He can fit the edge, play the edge very well. Loved him coming out. I think Minnesota had a great Senior Bowl, had a pretty good damn season. And then I think the Seahawks just started drafting a bunch of different types of players, and he kind of got left. But Boye Mafe is a name. Somebody need to be ringing the bell because if I'm the Niners, I'm looking at that name. And the best part, he's under that $10 million mark. I don't think the Niners are spending more than $10 million on an edge, per year. I just wouldn't put that out there. Per year. There's another guy I like. David Ojabo from the Ravens. Another cheap guy. $1.5 million, it looks like his market value is. These are guys that, I think he's a Michigan guy too, if I'm not mistaken. Here's another guy. Pay attention. Raheem Morris coming from Atlanta. Arnold Abukadi. I think I said his name right. I hope I did. He's under the $10 million mark. He's probably one of the more top guys that's going to get some bread this year. I don't want any more players from Philly other than Azeez Ojulari. I'm good on that. There are tons of unrestricted free agent edge rushers. How about this guy? I'm going to give you a name. And please, I don't want any flack here. Please. The San Francisco 49ers. Edge rusher. Drake Jackson. You drafted him. Bring him back. I'm just playing. Bring him back. He should be healthy by now, man. The dude hasn't played but 5 snaps in the NFL in his career. I felt like all 5 of those snaps, he got sacks. You know what I'm saying? Look, I say bring back Drake and just see what you get, man. You drafted this kid. He's got to be able to do something, that's just the way I feel about it, man. Shout out to all the super chatters out there, man. Appreciate that. I was playing, man. I'm playing. Guys, do I look serious? Come on. He just didn't fit. It didn't fit. He was almost as bad as drafting Solomon Thomas, but we got him, and we was Drake, 2nd round pick. Yeah, it was this. I like the Azeez. Because I think, the Niners, they have to get serious up front. And and here's the thing, if I'm the Niners, I'm signing I'm signing an inexpensive but can have the ceiling to be a high productive defensive end. They do this every year though. So you got to look at the guys. Like Charles Omenihu, Samson Ebukam, those guys play well in the system. Do we bring them back? Do those guys return to home? I'm over the Gross Matos experiment. It just didn't work. You can move on from that. I'm over Cleveland Farrell too. It's just time to move on. I'm over those. Right? But I would be willing to bring those 2 guys back. I won't bring back Drake Jackson. I was just playing with that one. But at the end of the day, Boye Mafe, in my opinion, would be, if I'm not spending bread, David Ojabo, Boye Mafe, Arnold Ebiketie, like those are the names. And what was the other kid that I said from Philly? Azeez Ojulari. Those are the names. I think those are going to be the names. Wayne, they're going to be mad at you. They're not going to be mad at me if they bring Drake back. They're going to just have to say, Breezy was on to something. That's what they're going to say. God dang nabbit. That's what they better say. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I got to leave in about 15 minutes. My bad. This show flew by fast. I got to get my son today. Anyway, it's just some names I want to throw out there. All right. If you guys got some questions, man, I think it's my boy Tony right here. Wayne, I have a question on a former Michigan prospect that could use a change of scenery. Are you talking about Devin Bush? I'm just curious to know who you're talking about because he's a free agent. I'll be a linebacker. I think the Niners go with another veteran style type of a linebacker. I'm just curious to know who you're talking about, Tony. So if I missed it in the chat, just put it in the chat again, please. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing on the Drake stuff, guys. Y'all ain't going to hold me to that. Okay? You're not. Y'all not going to hold me to that. You know what I'm saying? All right, here's a good take from Ruler of the Red Zone. All right? I hope you subscribe to my channel. I know you're not a member, but I hope you subscribe, right? Because my members going to get mad because I read comments that are members. They're going to be like, yo, you said. Okay. Anyway, Ebiketie did work with Raheem Morris, but he must not have been good enough for Falcons to draft two top-tier rookie defensive linemen. See, I disagree with that. And here's my disagreement with that, and I hope this makes sense to you. Raheem Morris was the head coach of the Falcons at the time, right? And they weren't going to spend money on Arnold Ebiketie, right? So they say, hey, we'll draft the edge position twice again. Now, one of them not going to work. James Pierce, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to have that conversation. Pure talent, great talent, but just bad character for James Pierce Jr. And I'll leave it at that. But Jalen Walker was hurt pretty much last year, and I think he's more off-ball linebacker anyway. I don't know. At the end of the day, I think they were moving on to not pay a guy. Does that make sense? Because sometimes that's what you do. You know, that's what you do. I got an edge rusher, man. I like him, but I ain't trying to pay that position because you got money locked into other positions. There's a player that's about to become a free agent that we should have a conversation on. He's not on my. I don't think Thibodeau is Thibodeau a free agent? Is Thibodeau a free agent? I don't know if Thibodeau's a free agent yet. They didn't fifth-year option him, right? I don't see him on this list, but he could be a free agent. You know, he could be. I don't know. I see that out there now. So I don't know. But here's a player. Ready? I'm gonna type it so that y'all can see it at the same time. Now, here's what I'm doing this year. I'm gonna present this scenario. If I'm the 49ers, I'm trading Mac Jones for a second-round pick. And hear me out before y'all start cussing me out. First of all, I'm giving a round of applause to Sam Darnold. Why? Because if he never became a 49er, his ass would have never won a Super Bowl. So that's really a Niners Super Bowl, right? He just didn't get the opportunity because Brock wasn't giving up the job. All right, now he goes to Minnesota. He gets him to the playoffs, blah, 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 whatever. Then he goes to Seattle on a one-year deal, right? And wins the Super Bowl. God dang it. I wonder where Sam Darnold got better. Oh, I know. He came to San Francisco. So what I'm thinking is Sam Darnold winning the Super Bowl is the best thing that could have ever probably happened to the Niners because the value of quarterbacks that go to San Francisco and sit behind. That's how good Brock Purdy is. Now people are not talking about this. How good he is. It's how good of a teacher, a processor, whatever. This is how good he is. Those quarterbacks go out and win Super Bowls. I guarantee you there's going to be a team out there that's willing to pay Mac Jones or trade for Mac Jones and then give him a nice little 1-year deal, 2-year deal, whatever. Like kind of like the deal, just got. And for Mac, that'll be great because he looks like he deserves to be starting again. Sounds like Sam Darnold, right? That's my theory. Now, with that being said, if the Niners trade Sam Darnold for a second-round pick, not Sam Darnold, Mac Jones for a second-round pick, all right, now the Niners got an extra second rounder. That's 2 second rounders in this draft. I'm loving it. I'm going to have fun with this mock draft this week. But guess who's going to be available? All right, let me type the name in here because I got to, I'm going to just type the name in here. And please don't yell at me. I don't want to be yelled at today. I don't have and I spelled his name wrong because it ends with an S. God dang it, Wayne. You can't even get your facts right. All right, so now Kirk Cousins is going to be released from the Atlanta Falcons, okay? I'm just going to say. Now, I know Kirk probably wants to play, but the dude been sitting on the bench for 2 years, so he might as well just enjoy the bench and accept that in father time hood of the NFL. This is just his role, right? This is his role. This is where he belongs. He belongs on the bench backing up. But I guarantee you, I think Kyle Shanahan is going to go after Kirk Cousins. Not to start. That's not what this is. Nope, not doing it. Not going to do that. The team, Brock Purdy is the starting quarterback. But if something happens, Sam Darnold will be the insurance policy. What I'm learning about the Niners is they're getting guys as insurance policy. They're not even paying a lot. And right now, guess what Kirk Cousins can't command? Lots of money. Why? Because nobody's going to pay him. Nobody's going to be as dumb as the Browns, and nobody's going to pay him. He's just not going to get paid anymore. So at this point in his career, if he wants a job, would you guys oppose Kyle Shanahan going to get Kirk Cousins to be the backup quarterback after trading Mac Jones? Let me know what you guys think. That's just my theory. This dude told me to quit smoking weed. All right. I'll shut up. You know, like I know, that Kirk Cousins and Kyle Shanahan go together like sand and paper, or Kool-Aid and sugar, or ham and burger. You know it. So I don't know why I be thinking I be coming up with these crazy ass wild takes. This is the way it is. You get a second round pick, and you sign Kirk Cousins for $7 million. Now you got a backup quarterback. God forbid something happened to Brock. Okay? And you got a guy that more than likely gonna come in and win you games. That's what ain't that what Mac Jones did? Isn't it? And maybe we trade for a Justin Jefferson. Because now you got the picks. First, couple of seconds. Now you go after that wide receiver. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have fun. Now he told me I'm on the mic hookah. Dang. I'd rather smoke the weed. All right. But look, it can happen. You know what I'm saying? He's probably going to go after, I wouldn't be surprised if Trey Lance came back. You know what? Might as well just bring guys that were 49ers back here. He's going to go after and get one of those quarterbacks probably from that draft. Maybe Zach Wilson. Or let's see what quarterbacks are available. That's why I love y'all. Y'all be making me mad. Wait, Daniel Jones is a free agent? All right, so here are your available free agent quarterbacks. Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Zach Wilson. It's a no for me on Tyrod Taylor. It's a hell no for me on Joe Flacco. I'll be double dog damned if Kenny Pickett is here. You better not bring Jimmy Garoppolo's ass back to San Francisco. Mitch Trubisky? This is if they trade Mac Jones too, by the way. I know Lance not coming back. I'm just having fun with you guys. Daniel Jones not coming back. Daniel Jones is about to be a starting quarterback for a team. Daniel Jones is the number. Let me just say this about Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is the number one free agent quarterback. Ask me what his market value is. Somebody asked me, and don't look it up because I asked you to ask me. Ask me what his market value. His market value is $43 million per year. That cat getting paid. And if I'm the coach, I re-up. I re-up. We not getting Daniel Jones. All right, anyway, let me go back. You say you take him over Brock. Man, you bugging. All right. Mitch Trubisky, I'm over Case Keenum. Trey Lance, free agent. Brandon Allen, they bet not. Josh Johnson, hell to the no. That cat couldn't even come in and throw up. Didn't he get injured when he came in again? How you come in on one play and leave for the rest of the game? I'm good on him. Carson Wentz? Malik Willis? Nah, don't fit. Teddy Bridgewater? Nah. Easton Stick? Breck Rippin? Garland Minshew? Skylar? Nah. I just think, I don't think they got to get younger at the quarterback. But Zach Wilson probably would be the guy. I think personally, when Kirk Cousins becomes a free agent, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on that first plane smoking to Santa Clara and ends up being a backup quarterback for the 49ers. If they trade Mac Jones. A big if in there because Mac Jones' value just increased. I'm telling you, that Super Bowl win by Sam Darnold, and it's another quarterback in the Kyle Shanahan system, they want that guy. And let me tell you what Sam Darnold did. Sam Darnold was the best goddamn game manager I've ever seen. Have you noticed the issue? Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't manage the game. We lost. Brock Purdy, I felt like, was able to manage the game, but then he got the team into position to win it. Jake Moody couldn't hit a field. I'm not going to put Brock on that category. But my point is, have you noticed that these quarterbacks in the Super Bowl have just been great game managers opposed to like these elite style based type of quarterbacks. I watched Sam Darnold manage the game. He had 2-3 explosive plays down the football field. Maybe 2 or 3. One to a tight end. There was no JSN at one point. Cooper Kupp had one, I think. That was it. And they ran the ball. They just ran the ball. Yeah, there's a lot that I feel like the Niners, damn. But Sam Darnold managed the game, got his team to the victory, helped his team get to the victory. That's the Niners, man. The Niners have got to figure this stuff out when it comes down to closing out these games. And it's going to start with the offense being better. But what really won that game for the Seahawks was that defense. That defense was on point. And their kicker, I will say, Myers, you should have been MVP. Jason Myers should have been MVP. But at the end of the day, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I don't know if the Niners are going to trade Mac Jones. Before I leave, though, Deebo Samuel sounds like he wants to return to the Bay. I got a bunch of hell no's, and this is that. I will say that if there's any head coach that can get anything out of Deebo Samuel, it's Kyle Shanahan. That's it. I'll leave it at that. I'm not for it. But if he's only asking for, and I got to do the math because I think it's like $7 million a year, and I got to go, but it is what it is. Deebo Samuel right now is commanding beep-beep-bop-boo, and I know he's older. I know it's $13 million. The Niners, but that's cheaper than $17 million. Would you want Deebo or Juwan Jennings? I like that. That's kind of like the money market. If you were, or if you're gonna bring a guy back, but I do feel like you can draft another guy like Juwan Jennings, but can you ever find another Deebo? And I got a guy. His name is Chris Bell from Louisville. He's not Deebo, but he's Deebo-esque. I'll leave it at that. So there's so many different ways the Niners can go. I see people saying they'll take Deebo back. And a lot of people saying that they won't take Deebo back. I get it 100%. You know what it is about Deebo? It's his mindset. And you heard Christian McCaffrey speak about it, and it's the fact that he initiates that contact. He's looking to be a bully, and I think offensively, that was what was missing from the Niners offense. It was too pretty. It was too, you do this and no. It needed to be gritty. It needed to be grinding out. It needed to be smack punch straight up in the mouth. We were missing punches. And yes, Deebo didn't look good the last time he was wearing the Niners uniform. And I think mainly because they were asking too much of him. They wanted him to be an X. He was not an X, but he was trying to prove he could be an X so he could go out there and get more money on the market. He got his bread, he did. We got a super chat. Is it Carl Zion? I hope I said that right. He says, Deebo had a better year. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hey, thank you for that super chat. I cannot comment on this because it's the truth. And they don't want the truth from me. They want people don't want me to be truthful, but I'm glad that you were, and I'm glad that you super chatted it so everybody that's watching this show can see it, and he did. And they both missed games. Deebo's production went down when they lost their starting quarterback. But that doesn't mean he's gonna be back. I mean, you see them hanging out. He's hanging out with his guys. It sucks what the Niners are going through when it comes to Brandon Ayuk. That's what it is. They got to find a way to replace that. And even Ricky Pearsall, as good as he is, he's not Brandon Ayuk. All right. Listen, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to me on this first off-season show and the super chats and all that good stuff. And BAM Show will be here Wednesday, and I'll be looking to do another show live on Friday. The Mock Draft Monday will air tonight at 8 p.m., so make sure you guys check that out. It won't be live, but you guys can still check it out. I'm going hamburger and cheese on Mock Draft 2.0. Again, love y'all. Shout out to all the members of the Breezy Bunch crew. I got to go get a little Romy Rome. Love y'all, man. Peace.
What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.